Of course, you can't have a relationship with Jesus if you don't already believe in Jesus. On the surface, you may think that this writer is correct, but what I really want to get into is what he wrote after that. But let me just reiterate this part really quick. On the surface, you would think that in order to have a relationship with Jesus, you have to believe in Jesus. And that makes sense to a certain degree, except for the aspect of having a relationship with someone or anyone. You have to be able to have observable data that demonstrates the other person is giving back to you. You see, I cannot have a relationship with some unknown person who exists on another side of the planet and I don't know them. I'm not having communication with them. We're not talking. I'm talking to them. They're not talking back. They're not showing up in my life. We're not going hanging out. We're not talking through video chat or anything of that nature. In order to have a relationship with someone, there is a 50-50 exchange that must occur in order to have a relationship. There is an exchange. So let me take 50-50 out. But there must be an exchange that is observable and factual to that person. The reason why I put factual to that person in there is because people will come back and say that, well, I have a relationship with Jesus because when I pray, he talks to me and I hear his voice. And I'm sure that voice is your own audible voice. But of course, many Christians have been changing that to say, no, the voice is different. But you cannot also factually demonstrate through observation that, oh, I prayed to Jesus, and I was about to lose my job, and then I got my job, I kept my job, or I was about to lose my house, and I kept my house. I almost died, and then I came back after surgery. That's not observable and factual to any deity whatsoever, because if that is true, then every Muslim, every Brahmin, every Shakti, every religion in the world that people believe that their God, deity, whatever goddess, saved them from a car accident, saved their life in a hospital, even though they had surgery and medication, gave them their job. They hear their voice when they talk to them. Every other religion claims the same thing because none of them are observable and none of them you can point to any facts that labels it as you having a relationship. But here's the funniest part to me. Just so you know, soon an earthquake will hit Germany. Berlin will be the epicenter. This will happen because the Messiah is coming. Repent and return to Jesus, and you will be saved. You know, I love when y'all give prophecies, and I love how vague the prophecy is at first. Soon. Soon indicates within a reasonable amount of time from the time frame that you said this. Now, you said this about 3-4 days ago. So soon would have to be within the next 3-4 days, the next week, the next 2 weeks, even a month. I'll give you 2 months. And I thought you almost had something, even though I know that you didn't. Because here's the thing about Germany and Berlin. You see, this is a picture of the fault lines that run through Germany. And what you may notice is that Berlin is way over here, sitting nestled between 2 fault lines. One that borders Germany, well, one that kind of sort of borders Germany and is more into Poland, and the other one that is way over there to the west. I went back and researched geological earthquake data, and what I found is that Berlin has not had an earthquake as the epicenter ever in the history of recorded earthquakes. And this goes back into the 1700s as far as I went back. I stopped after the 1700s. But since the 1700s, Berlin has never been the epicenter of an earthquake. Have they ever felt slight tremors of an earthquake? Sure. They've never been the epicenter of an earthquake. Did Leipzig have an earthquake? Sure. They have them all the time. Right there, that little, in the middle, that little pinch, that's earthquake territory. This is earthquake territory. And it's painful to realize that I lived in Stuttgart, Germany for 3.5 years, and we was right into the zone 0, zone 1. Didn't know that when I lived there, but Germany has never had one, but you almost had something, because just yesterday, February 27th, there was a 4.8 earthquake that happened in Poland. It was felt in some regions of Germany, but it was not felt in Berlin at all. Not even a tremor, not even a little. Nothing at all was felt in Berlin. And this would have been soon. This would have been as far as your date. You see where the star is? That's where it happened. I can't say the name of the town. It's like Poleczki Whiskey or something. I can't say the name of it correctly. I don't speak Polish. But no earthquake. Sorry, had one just yesterday, 4.8 on the Richter. But what this demonstrates is the fear-based mongering that Christianity has to have written within its book and with its believers in order for people to follow it. You see, they have to invite fear into your mind and into your heart so that you rationalize it and emotionalize it so that you will stay indoctrinated into this religion. This is the whole reason there is hell and fire and brimstone and angels killing 2/3 of the population and all the fresh water and seawater turning to blood and all these different things, earthquakes happening all over the place, volcanic eruptions, all these different fearful things that you cannot control must be placed in your heart and in your mind in order for you to have this relationship with this God so that you're doing it out of fear because you want to be saved from the natural things that happen on earth. But with just a little bit of science, my guy, just a little bit of science, you could have looked up the areas where fault lines are and then predict an earthquake happening in the epicenter of some city that would be familiar so that your prophecies can come true. You see, if it was me, I would have picked a city like Hamburg. Hamburg sits on the fault line that on one of the fault lines that run up through Germany. I would have picked Hamburg. You got a greater chance of your prophecy coming to fruition if you would have chosen Hamburg. But instead, you chose Berlin, probably because it's the only city you know in Germany, most likely, or the most popular city that you know in Germany. But if you had done 2 seconds of research, you would have realized that there's absolutely no way an earthquake is going to happen in Berlin and that it would be the epicenter of an earthquake. And it would have to be one hella massive earthquake to even feel it in Berlin. So, as far as having this relationship, you're just having a relationship with yourself and a make-believe fairy tale, and you're an adult. Stop believing in fairy tale. Grow up. You don't believe in the Santa Claus or the tooth fairy anymore. So why are you still believing in Jesus? But hey, y'all have a great day. And remember always, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration.